Hello and welcome to Manic Movies, a series where we talk about the madness of movies. I'm Ryanimaniac and welcome back to The Road to the Endgame, where we're taking a look at all the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to the events of Avengers Endgame. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Thor The Dark World from 2013. So the story of this film is about Thor and all his warrior friends trying to reset peace and bring back peace in the Nine Realms after Loki tried to take the throne in Thor 1 and his invasion of Earth in Avengers. And also Thor's, dealing with missing Jane, his romantic love interest from the first movie, played by Natalie Portman. He's feeling sad for her, even though he knows he can't really get involved in her life anymore. He's being held back by all this trying to set things right back in the other realms. But all this time, Jane, while looking for Thor, or trying to move on from finding Thor, I should say, happens to stumble across this substance known as the Ether, which can be used as this mega weapon. And there's this villain, a dark elf named Malekith, who wants to obtain this Ether to destroy the Nine Realms or bring them back into darkness or something like that. It's not really explained exactly what he wants very well, other than he just wants this so he can bring about darkness. There's no real reason why he's doing it. That's just what he's doing. But even though Thor is trying to, for once, do this reasonably and trying to avoid innocent life, his father is adamant to destroying the Dark Elves, no matter what the cost, even the cost of Asgardian blood. So Thor has to rely on Loki, who's been locked up in the dungeons, to help him to defeat Malekith and destroy this super weapon, so that he doesn't have, so that there'll be no more bloodshed and all the fighting will end. So yeah, this is the first time of all the movies which you got to see a lot more of the other realms. Because the problem with the first film is a lot of it took place on Earth when Thor was cast out of Asgard. And, Thor was fun and all, but for the most part that was very boring. And the best parts of those films was in Asgard. And there's these big, grand environments. And so with this film, they are able to explore more of the realms and such. And like, for instance, at one point he brings Jane, Natalie Portman's character, to Asgard, as opposed to him going to Earth. They get to show a lot more of the other realms and other kinds of creatures and such. The only real problem with the film, though, is the fact that it's very slow and very boring and uninteresting. Like I said, you get to see more of the realms, primarily the Dark World. Only problem, it's very dull and boring. It's just this vast wasteland of nothingness. And the villain doesn't really, like I said, have a real specific motivation. He just kind of wants to bring the world into darkness for whatever reason. Something about the Dark Elves were there first, so they should reclaim their rightful spot as the highest beings, something like that. It's never really explained very well. And so the villain is, again, yet another Marvel villain that's very uninteresting, despite being played by a good actor, Christopher Eccleston, who, again, due to Marvel not really putting as much emphasis into the villain, is, again, one of the actors who adamantly did not care for his time with the Marvel films, which is a shame, because, again, he is a good actor. I mostly know of his work from Doctor Who, but I've seen him in many other things. He is a talented actor. It's just, he wasn't really given anything to really work off of, because it's pretty much just, okay, what's my character's motivation? He wants to destroy everything. Okay, why? Just cause. It's it's not an interesting villain in the slightest. He has a decent enough design, I guess. Still better than Abomination from Incredible Hulk, but for the most part it is just this sort of dull, dark costume. Chris Hemsworth is back again as Thor, and he's, again, a great time whenever he's on screen. He does a really good job portraying this character, and he even looks better in this film because his hair's a lot dirtier, and he's a lot dirtier and scuffed up and that sort of thing, unlike he was in the first movie, where most of the first movie, he just looked like such a pretty boy, and it just threw it off for me that, you know, he looked that nice, and he's supposed to be this warrior. In this one, they give him more of the look that he's an actual warrior. You get to see a bit more of the other Asgardians, like Thor's friends. You get to see more of Odin, Anthony Hopkins. He's pretty cool. Get to see more of Loki back in there, and he's pretty interesting and fun. Human characters aren't nearly as good this time. Natalie Portman, I guess, is okay, but for the most part, she really doesn't do anything. She just kind of is there. It doesn't really help focus it forward anything. Like, I think the most she really does is get the ether that the Malekith wants to get, and for the most part, she just kind of walks around and, you know, is Thor's love interest, and doesn't really do anything aside from going, oh wow, look, Asgard, it's so amazing, and all that stuff. For the most part, she doesn't really do anything. The intern, Darcy, is back, and she's got her own intern, and they exist. They don't really ever add anything. I think they're just mostly just supposed to be there for comic relief, but they don't really have any, again, they don't really help forward the plot in any way. The Doctor, Eric Selvig, I believe his name. If I'm getting it wrong, I'll correct myself. He's back and he's trying to sort of deal with the whole mind of brainwashing effects wearing off from Avengers when Loki controlled him, and people are calling him crazy and that sort of thing. But again, he doesn't really do much. I think, actually, I take that back. He does the most out of them all, because at least he invents the devices that help with the climax. But for the most part, he's also not really there that much, except for exposition purposes. The action was really fun. Like I said, the climax is one of the fun parts, because there's these portals that open up in the sky, and Thor and Malekith are flying through them, flying through the whole different realms in their battle and such. Only problem is very short. There's a lot more fighting and such. It's very nice compared to the first one, where for the most part it's just sort of stiff. Not really a lot of action going on, a lot more talking. This one has a lot more action into it. Like, you see more ships flying around, more warriors battling, that sort of thing. I feel like mostly the whole point of this film was just to set up the reality stone instead of Infinity Stones, because the ether is actually revealed to be the reality stone, or is it? It's not really clear. It's sort of implied it controls reality, and then in the end it's given to the Collector, and he says it's an Infinity Stone. So I don't know how it manifested itself as a stone, or how it was retrieved by the Asgardians, or anything like that, but I don't know. It's there so that the reality stone can be there for Thanos to get later. Stanley's cameo in this is a patient at the mental hospital with Eric Selvig, who, when he's going off his whole rant about the different portals and when they all align, whatever it's called, I don't remember, he's a patient in the hospital who asks for him to get his shoe back from Dr. Selvig. But yeah, overall, this was a very half and half film for me, because like I said, the story and villain are so very uninteresting and not really anything going on in this, but it's nice to see more of the realms and more of Asgard and more of Thor and Loki and all that. But aside from that, there's not really a whole lot to this film that really guarantees it a rewatch, other than to set up the reality stone, like I said. So I guess if you want to get caught to refresh your memory on the reality stone, it's okay, but for the most part it's a very dull film, very forgettable. So, it's okay, but it could be worse. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, you can feel free to hit that like button. Feel free to hit the subscribe button to get more videos like these, or you can check out my other videos, or you can leave a comment giving a suggestion of another movie I should take a look at. Because you guys might have a suggestion for a movie I should look at that I might have something to say about. I don't know. Leave a comment below and we'll see where it goes. But, yes. Anyways, with all that being said, stay sane in the insane world, and I'll see all you little loonies later.